let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Delicious things to eat. The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hi there. Hello one, hello all. Welcome back. It's been a while. It's been, what, 2 weeks? That's it. Now Lindsey's all big. Of course.
That's what she said.
Sorry. So let's get Lindsey small. So to match his ego.
Oh.
And then we'll
That's not what she
restart.
said.
Starting off nice and fresh. Rusty. Okay, so just test the audio because I want to make sure these guys match before we go forward. So just do a test high, guys, before we go forward.
A wimbo it, 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 a wimbo it. I was really hoping you'd pick that up. Thank you, sir.
And Fuego, just say stuff.
Oh!
I'm in Fuegotainment, a horror show, various other fun things. Rock-a-lockin'. Talking.
Oh my
How's
God,
that?
yes,
Do I
that
sound
sounds
better
way
now?
better.
Oh, you should have said something.
Yeah,
My mic
how am I
wasn't plugged
supposed to
in.
know that? Okay. All right, so it looks like we're good. Hello one, hello all. Welcome to this. Technically, it'll be a 2-week version, but we're August 9th through 11th of show business. So last week, Hobbs and Shaw premiered and came in first, and this week it maintained, but only slightly so. It was in first with 25 million.
Yeah.
Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark premiered in second with 21 million. The Lion King in third with 20 million. Dora and the Lost City of Gold in fourth with 17 million. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in fifth with 12 million, but we'll get to that green number later on. And for those who are curious, The Kitchen bombed. I don't remember if it was sixth or seventh, but it did not do very well.
Well, if The Kitchen was bombed, is the food okay? That's what matters here. I'm hungry. I want a sandwich. Is the
Yeah, it was 7, and it made a little over 5 million, about 5.5. So,
Oof.
yeah. Especially with all that star power, I'm sure that is a major disappointment. And it's based on a comic book property.
Is it really?
So what the hell happened? Yeah, it's based on a Vertigo comic. DC's more
DC.
adult imprint that did like Thing and Preacher and Watchmen.
Yeah. So Melissa McCarthy's kind of missed a couple of times now in a row.
Yeah, she's had a couple duds,
I
hasn't
just-
she?
That goddamn Muppet movie, man. Ugh.
Oh, that's right. That
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. That's one of the worst movies I've seen in like the lot. Like in
yeah,
this
that was
decade,
bad.
Probably.
That was
It
really
so
really
painful.
bad. So hello
I
to Dice, Tina, Tim, Sandra, Dale, Daniel, the Manhammer, Tina, Tom, Slowodan X. I know you told me to call you something else. I forgot. Daniel, and Tamara. Hello everybody in the YouTube chat. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. So we'll touch on old news, but it's kind of new if you're following the show. Hobbs and Shaw. Lindsey, you're the only person that actually saw that because Fuego said "fuck that shit," and I was busy dying.
Oh.
so enlighten us.
Well, about halfway through the movie, I wished I was dying, and it kind of made me want to go F
I'm
this
sorry to ruin it
S,
early.
because this is a family show. Rainbow.
I ruined our one. I apologize.
Wow. I no, you're fine. You're fine. I love that I'm the only one who saw it because I'm about to say, until like the third act of this movie, I really hated it. I was not on board. I love The Rock. I love Jason Statham. After a while, their improv-y shtick kind of wears thin on me. And it wore thin on me in this movie. It made me laugh a few times, but eventually it was just like, okay, we're just going to keep doing the same joke. Okay, we're just going to keep doing the same joke. Cool. But to be fair, once they got to the third act and the big Samoan dudes all had their big clubs and stuff, and they manufactured their way to turn off the guns the bad guys had so that the guys with the clubs could fight the guys with the guns, it was kind of fun for 10 minutes. I don't know if it's worth it for those 10 minutes, but those were some good 10 minutes, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, so I have. It's got like a sci-fi vibe to it at times, right?
Yeah, no, they're trying, man. They're not playing it safe. They're doing some kooky things, and this really is like a superhero sci-fi film with Idris Elba. To quote the movie, he's Black Superman, and he's got all these like biomechanical enhancements in his body, and it makes him do some cool things, a lot of really cool stunts. Live action anime. Like, why is this movie more like an anime than the anime live action movies that we get? I don't understand it, but that doesn't mean it's like a fun movie to watch. That's true.
Yeah,
Alita was pretty good.
I saw this the first time last week, actually. And I quite enjoyed it. I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just glad to see that Christoph Waltz can do something that wasn't written by Tarantino. Well, that is the only. I was like, oh, thank God, he can act outside a Tarantino movie.
To be fair, I mean, I did like Alita, but it's rough around the edges. It's got some, like, yeah.
I mean, I saw Alita in one of those theaters with like the speakers like in your seats in 3D, the press screening, and it was just it was an experience. It was like being on like a roller coaster or something. The story, yeah, it's a little on the paper thin side. The romance was kind of blah, but I mean, a visual and action standpoint, I thought it was really
impressive.
impressive.
Rollerball meets Tron at times, and it was just like, all right, I don't need this so much, but no, it's a fun, especially at home. If you can pause it and go fart and grab a snack, it's a way better experience.
Well, and I have to say, seeing Mahershala Ali in that movie with the little glasses, that's where I was just like, oh, he could rock being Blade, man. Like, hell to me, go down.
I can see that.
We're talking about an actor who's been all over the place the last couple of years. He has been all over the map as far as roles he's performed.
Yeah. Blade's gonna be his third Marvel role.
So Hobbs and Shaw is Universal. Is I want to say Bourne? That's Universal as well, right?
Maybe.
I'm starting to think that Universal just wants to own August from now on.
Also, just a quick thing. I think we're having. I keep getting Fuego starting to say stuff, and then he kind of gets cut off Fuego a little bit. So sorry if we're talking over you, Fuego. Sorry,
you're
dude.
A little hiccupy.
Yeah, I'm experiencing it too.
Okay, so it's on.
It's a technical difficulty night. What do you got? It's okay.
Rusty,
it's okay.
we're
We'll
coming
get through
back.
this.
It's okay. Bourne is Universal.
But, I believe. I was about to say. I think you're right about that.
Universal releases their larger stuff.
My browser.
Their larger stuff in August, and Hobbs and Shaw is no different. And now Lindsey's paused. Oh no, there you are.
Yeah.
You just weren't making faces. You just had this stone cold look on your face.
I did my. Oh God, sorry, Waco.
You're good. I just closed down my browser with hopes that will, I don't know if I have to reboot my router or
We're
what.
just gonna have to do this all
sorry, guys.
live in studio together. That's all. There's a solution.
Did you turn it on and off?
Well, so before we get to scary stories, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, who takes credit for this little nugget? Was it you, Lindsey, or was it you, Fuego, that brought this up?
I think I saw it the same day that Lindsey did. It was a tweet that somebody that I follow put out there, and literally like an hour or so after that, Lindsey put it in our little group message thing. So
regardless,
that's funny.
Regardless,
that was the same tweet.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, just the second original film in 2019 to gross 100 million domestic. The number one film is Us with 175 million. See,
Woo. And if Rocket Man counts, it's in the
does
close
Yesterday
third.
count? Because I put Yesterday in the list.
That's true. Yeah, Yesterday is relatively close to it as well. I would say that counts more than Rocket Man does, but if Rocket Man does count, it's at 95.
Yeah.
So it's worth
I have
mentioning.
Yesterday on there at 70. I have, and then the next thing is Escape Room with 57, and then it's perfectly fine. January horror movie. And then isn't it Romantic is the fifth highest original film of 2019?
You cannot put enough quotes around original for that one, sir.
But like you look at that list and it's just like, okay, wow, we're out of ideas, folks. That's it. We're just sequels and rehash.
Original films rarely make the big bucks. That's why people bet on the original, not original properties, franchises so much. It's rare for Titanic to make $2 billion. It's rare for Avatar to make $2 billion. As I'm just saying, I'm using those as examples because
they are the exception to the rule, but that's what everybody else is striving to. Yeah. So it's kind of backwards, don't you think?
No, maybe it's not the best metaphor, but just ultimately, it's in a year where what's hit $1 billion so far? We got Avengers that hit $2 billion, we got Captain Marvel that hit $1 billion, we got Spider-Man that's hit $1 billion, you got Lion King that's hit $1 billion, Aladdin's almost hit $1 billion if it hasn't hit $1 billion yet. It's just weird that when you have this many movies crossing the $1 billion mark and one that's crossed $2 billion, to then just look back and see original concepts just trailing behind.
Yeah, and actually, this is where I probably want to give, even though I much preferred Get Out to us, even Once Upon a Time and Yesterday and Rocket Man, those are based on like pre-existing either people and their work or life events or whatever. Us was wholly, credit to Peele and just how influential he is at this particular point in I mean, not just horror, but in all of, creativity as far as Hollywood and stuff like that goes. So.
So, scary stories to tell in the dark. By August standards, 21 million's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, another thing, if you look below my chin there's 4 wide releases. We're officially at F it. Just put it in the middle of August time, where they don't compare. They don't care who they're competing with. They're just throwing movies 4 at a time out now. Because there was 4.
The Rain with the dog and all that.
One more time?
I can't. The something Rain film with the dog voiced by.
Yeah, that was last week.
Costner,
Driving in the Rain.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. The Art of Driving in the Rain. Or
Dora
something
just got blended in the mess.
Yeah.
Next week is 47 Meters Down, Blinded by the Light, Good Boys, and Where'd You Go, Bernadette, which I don't think Where'd You Go, Bernadette's going to be much of a threat, but that's a bit of an indie darling.
I don't know why, but every time I hear Where'd You Go, Bernadette, for some reason I get the What's New Pussycat in my head. I don't know why, but literally every anyway. Okay.
So
I actually 4 top song Bernadette. And I actually have press to that tomorrow night. Honestly, the concept does not intrigue me whatsoever, but I love Richard Linklater. He's one of my favorite filmmakers, and he does such interesting, diverse things that I always watch all of his films, even if I didn't like Marwan that much, even if the one with the other one that I think had Carell, and it was like based on veterans aging, and the title is eluding me. But yeah, he's a director that
Marwin?
he's done. Well, there was Marwin, and then there was another one
Flags of
that
Our.
came out
Oh no
maybe
no 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 no!
this
Yeah, I know
year.
what you're talking about. Yeah. With Bryan
Yeah.
Cranston, right?
Cranston,
Ah,
yes,
I don't
correct.
remember the name of the movie. Yeah.
And that was another one that I was kind of underwhelmed by. But I mean, when a guy could do Boyhood, and he could do School of Rock, and he could do Waking
School
Life,
of
and he
Rock,
could do
yeah.
Dazed and Confused, and I mean, such a diverse body of work before sunset, before sunrise. Those three, great. I mean, he is a hell of a director. He can't be pigeonholed, which I think is
I like
really
Bernie.
cool.
I'm
So
a big fan of Bernie.
Last Flag Flying. That was bugging me. I
that's
needed-
what it was. Yeah. Knew it was something about flags and so on, but
Also, for the record, I just want to say I love School of Rock. I love that movie. It's one of the most unsung comedies I think of this millennium. Like, I know that's not that long, but like it's just I have friends that will just sit around just quoting that movie at each other for hours.
Oh,
Maybe
the
not.
Last of the Rent was way past due. This time. Yeah.
Okay, so Scary Stories
Anyway.
is the fifth highest grossing opening weekend for horror this year. Number 1 was Us. Number 2 was Glass. Number 3, Curse.
That's a horror movie?
If that's considered
Yeah, all right,
horror, I
we'll
guess.
put an asterisk there. That's fine.
Okay.
The Curse of La Llorona.
I mean, it was so bad it was scary, but
Pet Cemetery is next. Then Scary Stories. Then Annabelle, only 0.7 million behind that. Then Escape Room. Then Ma, and then unfortunately Child's Play. But you guys saw it.
take it away,
Palaver.
Fuego.
Yeah, Palaver is right. I liked it, but I didn't love it. It was just my biggest problem was the framing device. Ames was one that I remember. The one where the kid plays the drum out in the forest until the arrow goes through him was another one. I mean, obviously the Viper here to wash your windows and all that stuff. Big Toe. I mean, all of these were iconic retellings and stuff. And I don't know. I thought all the performances were good. I liked the practical of these different monsters, I guess you could say. But as a whole, I just didn't find the story that interesting, really. But I liked all of the set pieces with the monsters. I thought they were very well done, and I like Andre Overdahl as a director. I'm very excited to see what he does with the long walk.
Fuego, hold that thought. Just reiterate what you opened with, because you were muted. This is just getting the bearings back, kids. When I went to you isolated, we lost your sound. So just restart with your book story. Sorry.
Yeah, I saw Goosebumps a few years ago, and this was really a very similar framing device with the stories coming to life, and for that reason, I just didn't find that setup very engaging for how they kind of wove everything together. I thought it was kind of lackluster and by the books and not that interesting, but all the kids and their performances I thought were good. Just to double down in case I already said this, but the practical, like the monsters in this film in the different segments, I thought were really cool. And it's a good introductory film for, a younger, person who wants to get into horror, because it's well put together. Overdahl directed the heck out of this movie, and I'm assuming with a successful opening weekend like this, we'll probably see another one. But yeah, I liked it, but I didn't love it. I'll just leave it at that. So,
Linzo.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's a lot. This is gonna be a lot of people's baby's first horror movie, and for that, it works. Like a lot of kids, at this point going forward, are gonna see this for the first time when they're too old for Are You Afraid of the Dark? Which, by the way, where's the reboot on that? And Goosebumps. They'll move on to. Oh, it's happening.
Yeah, well, there's a movie they've been trying to get off the ground for a while, and apparently it just lost Gary Dauberman. He was gonna write it and possibly direct, but there's a revival coming on Nickelodeon as well, and we just did a trailer reaction on the horror show for it last week. So,
Cool. No, I mean, yay, that's awesome. I loved Scary. Are You Afraid of the Dark? The Midnight Society. That was my jam, dude. Okay. Well, yeah. Can we talk about that? Let's. I got nothing else to say about Scary Stories and Talking Dark. Let's talk about Don't Be Afraid of the Dark.
If you're really done, there's
No. I've got a couple things to say. Sorry. The performances were good. I dug some of the characters. They weren't too bad. Some of them were very broadly arch and overly written and terrible and cliche. I had forgotten a couple stories that watching this movie reminded me of, like the Big Toe, like you said, like the me, Tai, Dodie, Walker. I completely forgot about that, but the moment that started happening in the movie, I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome. And actually, that the Walker guy and the weird contortion-y way he did it, I found this video online of the guy who did the character actually doing those things. They used a little CGI to enhance like the makeup effects and stuff that was on that guy, but for the most part, that was practical. That kind of blows my mind. It was pretty dope. No wonder Del Toro wanted to be a part of this, or to write it, or direct it, or whatever the story there is. I completely understand. I just wish the story was stronger, like you said, and I can't get over the fact that for absolutely no reason, this movie has a Vietnam War backdrop.
Yeah, and it doesn't really fit the proceedings in my estimation. It didn't give anything additional to the story. It didn't necessarily make you feel any more, and it tried, especially with the whole love interest thing and with how the movie ends and stuff, but it didn't click, man.
Yeah, it wasn't just like a background noise. It was actually like, text, people talking about it and stuff. And I'm like, okay, where's this going? And the answer was nowhere. I was flabbergasted. I like, they keep referencing Nixon, and this movie's actually, like, part of the events of it take place on the night that Nixon was elected for the second time. And
they show TV footage in the movie.
Yeah, but why? Like, they never, at one point they say Tricky Dick, he sucks. At another point they say Vietnam is a thing that needs to be fought and it's important. So I'm like, movie, you can't, it's like you're trying to have your cake and eat it too. Like, as you're eating the cake, you're like taking it out and trying to rebuild the cake.
Like teenage horror, isn't
it? Yeah, it's a kid's movie.
And I ironically, for whatever reason, I saw a lot of people saying, why isn't it R-rated? And I'm like, the books say on the back, ages 8 to 12. This is not going to be an R-rated film. Why would you ever even assume that would be the case? So
yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. And I don't know. It's a weird little movie. I'm glad it exists. Like 2 weeks ago, we talked about how I hate Mama and I hate Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, but I like The Orphanage. So movies that I've seen that Del Toro produced, he's 1 for 3. He's 2 for 4. I'll give this movie a pass, but it's not like a strong pass. It's I'm confused movie, but I enjoyed enough of you to let it go. I feel like you need to try a little bit harder, maybe have another pass at the script next time, tighten things up a bit.
And that's what I wonder, because the story is credited to him, but the screenplay is to a couple other people, so it makes me wonder, like, how much of this framing device he was responsible for, especially with the whole, Vietnam aspect and whatnot. Was that courtesy of the two who scripted it, or, I mean, who knows? These are behind-the-scenes details we'll probably not be privy to.
I wanted to shout out Tamara, because Tamara asked us weeks ago about this movie. If you guys remember, asked us, like, I think a trailer dropped for Scary Stories, and Tamara asked us in the chat. And Tamara dropped, I saw Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark last night with my sisters. We used to read the books with nothing but a flashlight when we were young, and then saw it on the big screen, and I thought it was great. We were 7, 8, and 10 years old. Awesome to see something like that come to life. So, target audience, I guess, that...
Oh, yeah. This movie's going to work for a lot of people. Like,
and
just,
it did.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot to really appreciate and get sucked into by this movie. I just wish there was less other things distracting me from the things that I liked. Like, I wanted to see... I don't know. It's like a C plus for me. C plus, B minus is what I'd say.
It's a little weak. B minus.
Yeah, but there's enough to carry it through. I went back and watched it again today specifically because I spent all weekend thinking, is this movie pro Vietnam? there's no way this movie is pro-Vietnam. There's no way in 2019 you're releasing a pro-Vietnam movie. So I went back and saw it again. I'm like, no, it's not pro-Vietnam. It just has no stance on this thing. It decided to bring it up.
If it were only the listen, I haven't seen it. If it were only the Nixon thing, I would have guessed Trump parallels. But
Yeah.
I have nothing to go on. And speaking of politics, let's get this out of the way really quick. Normally we're talking about feminism in film, but
Where's this going? I can't wait.
Oh, I know exactly
This
where
time-
it's going because it's a big announcement. I was one of my most look forward to films upcoming in horror, honestly.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I know where we're going now. Okay.
So
Yeah.
what was the title? Damn it, I had the title.
The Hunt.
Called The
See, you knew exactly what I was talking about.
Look-
Scrapped.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, a Jason Blum production. Yikes.
Oh, your favorite guy.
Yikes. So they pulled it. They just first they delayed it. First they said,
Right.
for those of you who are out of the country, we had 2 mass shootings over the course of 13 hours. And in light of those events, Blum announced that they were pushing back the release date. And now this past week, they announced that it's just gone. They're just yanking it.
Cancel.
So
I think it'll get released eventually. It's just
On a streaming service, maybe, or Hulu.
worldwide
Yeah.
might get it. They might get the old Annihilation treatment, and we're not going to have.
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So
That'd be interesting.
So my
Yeah.
thought, I guess my question to you guys is, I mean, it's not like this is a rare occurrence, as unfortunate as that is to say. Should something like this dictate film?
I say hell to the
Yeah.
no. They going to pull Ready or Not? Are they going to cancel the 4th John Wick movie? Are they going? I mean, are we just not going to have any more violent entertainment? The blame game started immediately afterwards. I mean, they're like, oh, violent video games are to blame, so on and so forth. The guy in oh boy, I'm trying to remember. Was it Colorado or Texas? God damn it! There's been so many of these horrendous things.
Dark Knight. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
Aurora
There's
shooting.
Aurora shooting.
yeah, it's insane how just heavy metal and video game, violent entertainment, really, or just aggressive entertainment of any kind, immediately gets on the hot seat in these occurrences. With video games in particular, there was a statistic going around that showed, the fact that South Korea and various
Japan.
parts in Japan, they're like, so many more play these violent video games there, and the amount of shootings,
And they're better at them than we are.
and it's like non-existent as far as that stuff goes, as far as gun violence.
Well,
and
they
things
have
of that
different
nature.
laws.
I think Americans are just crazy in a lot of
Yeah.
ways.
Dude, it's the Wild West. It's just like straight the Wild West. Emily.
And I live.
Yeah. Every now and again, Emily just reminds me, like, oh yeah, we're a little nuts here in America, because she's like, just something random that's normal to me as an American will happen, and she'll be like, wait, that's a thing, and I'm like, oh yeah, you could do that. She's like, that doesn't make any sense. Well, welcome to America.
Did she lose her mind over sales tax?
Yeah, that was one of the first things where she's like, it says $5.99. I went there with $6, and it was more than $6. What is this? So amongst other things, we're awfully hypocritical. We don't know what the hell we're doing. If you think entertainment, if you like these kids, if you're gonna blame something on at least one of these, because I think one shooting, the guy was kind of liberal with his thoughts. The Ohio guy was liberal with his thoughts, if I'm not mistaken, and the Texas guy was certainly far right. If
No, he was wrong. He wasn't right, CP. He was
alt
wrong.
right, is that better?
Sorry, there.
So,
Welcome back to show
Yeah.
business, by the way, guys. We took a week off. We're talking about school, not school shootings, I guess, but
it just doesn't make sense. Like how, you.
well, it's like a few years ago with The Interview got pulled because
Direct to video or streaming on Netflix, right?
Was that Sony getting scared, or was that? Yeah, see that was Sony getting scared because they had a bunch of emails out there, and I don't know, people had some stuff they wanted to hide.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, some of those emails were pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, not necessarily like bad, but just embarrassing. Like that kind of joke that you make with your friend that no one else will ever hear, and now everyone gets to see it, and it's
that
a
was
little unfortunate
stuff, right? I think
I guess my question is why does entertainment always get altered, or why does like the weight of the world get put on our stupid little outlet here? Like what
people are looking for an easy scapegoat, man. That's what I surmise personally, as opposed to getting to the root of the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you think do you think there'll be a cut of this movie somewhere?
Oh yeah, I give it time, it'll come out. Like honestly, I think the real, I mean, again, I don't want to get too political here and go off on Trump, but I think the fact that he started complaining about this on Twitter is the reason why we actually saw anything happen, and it's unfortunate that that's why, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. He's a whiny baby poopy pants. Stop listening to him and taking him seriously. But I think this will blow over. That we'll see this movie. Jason Blum is too political of a dude to fully back down and not release this.
Yeah, and it looked really good in my estimation too. We just did a trailer reaction, and Susie Von Slaughter in the little horror show group feed that we have, she was like, "Oh my God, this can't be true." And Cecil and I were both just kind of trying to reassure her. We're like, "No, this is eventually going to see the light of day. Just give it time." Like,
unless it's the New Mutants, and we just don't even.
Even get me started.
That was starring Betty Gilpin too, right? The chick from Glow and Nurse Jackie. And
I think so. Yeah.
Shame for her.
Like, I'm a robber. Tons of people are in this movie. Yeah. So lots of power.
Like the grasp I got from this movie was adult Hunger Games. That's all I got from it.
Yeah, actually, that's a really. I was thinking less commercially viable Purge, but it is the adult Hunger Games. That's really funny.
Why?
Oh, so they can't do the Purge film now too, right?
It's like excellent point. Like I don't understand. Like why that movie of all movies?
Because some people made some headlines, and this is America, and America's gonna coming again to save the mother effing day. Yeah,
I mean, it's Universal. Why didn't Universal pull back on Hobbs and Shaw? What?
Because Hobbs and Shaw's Hobbs and Shaw in the climax, they shut down all the guns and they beat each other with big sticks.
Is that a fact? All right. Well.
For a good chunk of the climax, that's what happens.
Yeah. Okay.
Spoilers. Sorry.
So, Fuego, you had some chunks of news for us. Please lighten us up.
Yeah. There's just one headline just as we end this discussion. There was a spot on Collider earlier today where they were talking about it, and the headline essentially said, Universal Pictures cancels the hunt, single-handedly solves all of America's problems. I was like, amen to that.
We should have known all along it was this movie that wasn't coming out until this year that was causing all this.
And we should have known.
If I were active in my stand-up career right now, I would really be going off on this because George Carlin said the F word a bunch. And our hard rock heavy metal band had some lyrics that were a little over the top, and because two kids killed themselves, they had to put stickers on CDs.
Right.
So why not put stickers on guns and not affect or put a bigger sticker on the poster? Like I don't like.
Put stickers on guns.
I don't know.
Dangerous. Do not point at people.
The side of cigarettes. It's big font. This gives you cancer. Listen. It's the stupidest solution possible, but it's a step in acknowledging that is the thing that does the thing, not the entertainment.
Imagine if guns had cars have those like breathalyzers that get installed on. You have to blow on it or your car won't start. What if guns had a thing where it's like, okay, I want to use you. What do you want to kill with me? A deer. We're not in woods. How is there deer?
Somebody brought that up before. Somebody has a tech solution for that where you have like you open your phone with your thumb. Why not have that be your gun? Like only you can. I mean, granted, if somebody has a gun, at least it's a solution. Only you can kill people with your gun. It's a step. But just acting like movies are the problem is insanity. Is just.
Well, have you ever played Overwatch? Do you know how many people I kill in that game? I mean, I'm a support, so I don't really kill that much. I actually heal the entire time and keep people from dying. But if I was a DPS, I would be killing so many people.
I don't even know. You kids with your.
I know. Only like a third of our audience is gonna get that.
All right. So enough of the heavy shit. But
Yeah.
all right.
Well, so for a stand-up segue, since you just mentioned stand-up, and especially since he just inked a deal for like 20-something million to do a Netflix special, did either of you guys see the Dolomite Is My Name trailer that just hit today? Eddie Murphy.
No.
Looks fantastic. The cast is ridiculously stacked, from Wesley Snipes, Keegan-Michael Key. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, and it's going to be Netflix, but also in theaters. So this is one that it's a kind of a lengthy trailer. It's about 3 minutes, and it's kind of a biopic-y sort of thing about the guy who starred in it and how he wasn't like your typical Hollywood bod, and how it was very satirical and all of this different stuff. It's probably one of my most anticipated films of the fall.
Eddie Murphy's the lead?
Eddie Murphy is the lead. He's playing the actor who portrayed Dolomite, and it looks like such a return to form, guys. It is absolutely riotously.
Do we have a
hilarious.
rating?
I'm assuming based on the trailer, it is most definitely R-rated.
Awesome.
Rated G.
Oh, sex, violence, okay. I mean, he's like pulling intestines out of people at one particular.
Yeah, to kind of piggyback your Eddie Murphy news, Amos, I forgot his name. John Amos signed on for Coming to America too.
I was going to mention that too. And more people keep jumping on that. I can't wait for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's good to see Eddie, even if they miss, just good to see Eddie Murphy doing stuff that isn't 1,000 words. Just please, Pluto Nash.
Or I couldn't even bring myself to see
or the
that.
Haunted Mansion, or like stuff like that. Like
good. Are your kids grown up now? Good. Can you curse again, please? Thank you.
Daddy daycare or whatever.
Oh, yeah. He had a good 15-year stretch where it's just like, what do you owe people money? Why are you doing this?
I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I kind of like Dr. Doolittle.
Oh, that's the 90s. That was probably his last big hurrah there.
His last decent before kind of, okay.
I like the Clumps. I like the sequel. It's significantly superior. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah. Okay, for sure. Respect.
Yeah, Norbit. That was Eddie Murphy as well, I want to say.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
remember.
yeah.
I remember that, yeah.
Makeup, fat suit.
You know what? Bowfinger's probably the most recent. That was 98. I want to say 98, 99.
Somewhere.
So underrated, my God. And the way it went after Scientologists at the time. And I mean, that's one that me and Cecil and producer Dave for the horror show quote all the time. I mean, Chubby Rain, I got you suckers. And it's so good, man. That movie's hilarious.
Yeah.
Heather Gray jumping from person to person to person. Yeah. She's with the lesbian film executive at the end. Funny.
A little tight to the vest there with Hollywood these days, but
back to curtain. But yeah, Coming to America too, also adding Louis Anderson, and I mean the return of James Earl Jones, Arsenio Hall. I can't wait for that movie. I am super stoked.
Yeah, I just hope it's not Dumb and Dumber 2.
My God, yeah. Same. Or actually, you know what? Anchorman sequel wasn't that bad. It was. I mean, Chicken of the Cave or whatever. That stuff was funny. But, oh well.
I did like Anchorman too. I know a lot of people are hard on it, and there's reason to be hard on it, but I like it. Like, it makes me laugh.
The love scene is so funny in that. God.
Yeah, no,
Up
but
close.
it's encouraging to see Eddie Murphy back doing adult movies.
Mhm.
What else? You got anything else for us there?
Oh, yeah. What do you guys think about, where is it? La-di-da-di-da. What do you think about it, Chapter 2, de-aging those young actors because they were at that sweet spot where, it's been 2 years since that original film came out and, comes out September 6th, if I'm not mistaken, so less than a month away now. It's going to absolutely annihilate the
Uh-huh.
box office. But
Oh yeah, it is.
Finn Wolfhard in particular, his stature had significantly changed over the course of those couple of years. And so, I mean, especially with the aging in The Irishman
Uh-huh.
and various Marvel projects and stuff like that, obviously they got to do what they got to do. But you guys have thoughts on just the necessity of this and, going forward, if it should be used more often or what, I guess.
I feel so weird in my soul at the idea of Finn Wolfhard being de-aged. How is that
years.
man too old
Yeah.
for anything? Dear God. Yeah, no, you gotta do what you gotta do. Whatever's weirdness is happening with me
Dude, what are
aside.
they, 14 at oldest right now?
Might be 15,
I
16.
think
That's right there in that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Puberty starting to kick it. Like that I can understand if their voice were different. Like I'm catching up with Stranger Things and the boy with the lisp is yeah
On
he's
season
starting,
3, yeah.
he's starting to come into his own there. But
Yeah.
that show takes place every year later or whatever, so it's a little different. But I don't to go to the lengths to de-age a kid that is merely 2 years older. You knew you were doing a chapter 2. Why not just film the stuff? You know you've got prepubescent kids. Why not film that stuff?
That's a good question. You are absolutely right about that. This probably should have been a back-to-back filming. Maybe the script wasn't ready. Maybe there was conflicting projects. Maybe Finn have to go off and do Stranger Things 2 and 3. Who knows? But that is a good question.
And all the stuff that kid is doing at this point, like he is everywhere.
Yeah. I just looked at his Wikipedia page to find out how old he is. He's 16, and he's also listed as an actor and a musician.
Fun fact of the day. Thank you, Lindsay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tim. Oh, you should have known this. Fuego. Tim says chapter 2 wasn't greenlit and they didn't have the budget.
Oh well, yeah, they were basically waiting to see
Yeah.
if that, and nobody thought that first was gonna crush the way that it did, and so that's why we didn't have a back-to-back filming, even if maybe it would have made sense. And there is still a bunch of unused footage from the first film. Barbara and Andy teased the director's cut, and that never came to fruition, at least not yet. But they're saying that there's even going to be a lengthier cut to this new one, and who knows if they'll do a super cut, almost like Kill Bill status. I mean,
That'd be cool.
there's lots of stuff up in the air. That would probably be like a 4 or 5 hour movie, almost as long as the
I'll be
original
honest.
miniseries at that point.
I'd be so down for that, though. Like, I'd
I'll
watch
be
that in
honest.
theaters.
Oh yeah,
If there's an intermission, I'm
it-
down. Sorry, go CB.
Yeah. You know, like a Fathom event or something.
Oh, yeah, I mean, AMC does that shit all the time. Oh, you want to watch 5 Marvel movies
Oh,
in a
yeah.
row? Here you go. Pay us. We'll give you a lanyard, and you're all set. What was I gonna say?
I still remember doing that for Dark Knight. I watched Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises like all in succession.
I'm
That
so
was a
praying
long
they're
night,
doing
I
that
tell
for
you.
Star Wars again this year. I'm praying they do it, but
Oh, what? Like they play like Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and then Rise of Skywalker? What if they do all of them? What if they do like way
All
back?
set
what do
all
you mean?
9.
No, not just the
What,
yeah,
the
not just
12?
the 9. I want Caravan of Courage. I want the Battle of Endor. I want Clone Wars. I want Solo. I want Rogue. I want all of them.
I want
Yeah.
the Christmas special, God damn it! It comes out in
Yes.
December. I mean, come on.
Yes, you're absolutely. Then you know what? After you finish the prequels, you have to then actually everyone in the theater has to collectively play Force Unleashed because that bridges the gap in between.
It's not canon anymore, which kind of sucks. But I still remember, and also Dark Forces had some really cool stuff too, with the corresponding graphic novels, and I was a big Star Wars geek in the 90s, man, and I still am. I'm not going to lie. I love
That's
that.
it.
Yeah, no,
It's okay,
not
man.
here.
No apologies needed here. You're a good
just
cup.
fine. Where like right here. Here's Force Awakens. I'm geeked the hell out for that. But to it chapter 2. I'll be honest, I'm not too fired up from what we've seen so far. Like there's that one that trailer that's just a scene of Jessica Chastain in that house.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something else too after that, right? There was an
Well, there was a recent trailer that was just ridiculously good looking, although I'm really apprehensive about some presumed backstory changing about Pennywise's, origin and stuff like that from the scene in particular where you see him as a human, or at least, Skarsgård, and like the clown makeup, and the older woman hints at that in the trailer where she's like, my fodder worked for the circus and so on and so forth. And you're like, he's an...
No, she does it. She says fodder.
Yeah, he's an intergalactic, interdimensional traveler, demon, alien of sorts. And if they're going to change that, I would honestly have major concerns. But
you want it to be a giant spider at the end?
Well, it's gonna be. No. They confirmed that. So. Actually, in the book, awesome. I mean,
that's the one thing. That's the one thing I was like, all right, do it better. Just do it better.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think they could with modern technology and effects and stuff. I mean, the thing that I doubt they're going to do is the ritual of the Chud, which is where it's essentially Big Bill, all grown up, has a staring contest / like mental war of wills with the spider. It's crazy, and it's something that I don't think would transfer to screen very well.
Actually, you know what? They could do it like with Last Jedi, when they're in the throne room and both pulling the lightsaber, and it's causing them and everything. Or what if they did something like that, where like they're moving, and you know what I mean? That might work.
Sewer kind of thing and stuff, and then Bevy starts floating again.
Yeah, quick cuts.
Everyone starts floating again.
You'll float.
So there must be a new trailer that I haven't seen, because people are saying the final trailer was great in my opinion. I must have missed the final trailer then, because I
was a few weeks ago, and there's like the Hall of Mirrors scenes that they show, and they hint at the what's his name, Adrian Mellon, the gay kid who gets like chewed up under the bridge and all that stuff.
Yeah, I have not seen
we're presumably getting excited. Yeah, it's a good trailer actually. It restored my faith a little bit, although
because I'm going on that little scene. I'm not calling it a trailer because it's just a scene of Jessica Chastain in the house with the old lady. No. It was just like, okay, cool.
No, you definitely did miss a very good trailer then, my friend. Like, we see James McAvoy in action, and I'm down.
And the transitions from the younger to the older counterpart in the trailer are really cool, and you're just like, damn, those casting directors did a spot-on job with the adult
Chapter
counterparts.
1 was one of the few movies that I wasn't able to see right away, and due to the money and the hype, I was like, there's no way this movie's gonna... I'm going to be okay with this movie, because there's just so much hype and everything behind it. And it's one of the rare movies where I watched it and I was like, all right, that was pretty damn good. so I'm hopeful. Optimistic.
Same. I'm trying to temper my, expectations. The burden of expectation, as I always say on the horror show. My own channel, it is real, for sure. So
I love that that's your catchphrase, burden of expectation. It's a great catchphrase.
Yeah, we've got technically three releases. No, so it's coming out the 3rd, right? So we have 2 full weeks before it.
Yeah. What's the catchphrase that's been stuck in my head a lot lately? Super easy, barely an inconvenience. I've been watching so many of those pitch meetings from Screen Rant. They're golden funny. Anyway.
Do you have anything more?
Oh, but Raiders AK asks a fun question in the chat. Fuego, did you have heartburn with Kubrick's The Shining?
Heartburn? As in...
Well, just like How'd you feel about The Shining? Yeah.
Um, I'm honestly with Cecil in the fact that in some ways I prefer the ABC miniseries that Mick Garris directed with Steve Weber as Lawrence. King scripted it himself, Mick Garris directed, and so on. Kubrick's movie is really pretty to look at, but it loses all sense of the heart and a lot of the themes of the book. It's really, as I get older with Stephen King stuff after reading everything, and I see so many of these adaptations and like new interpretations and weird sequels like Pet Sematary 2, Larry Cohen's Return to Salem's Lot, stuff like that. I've grown to just tell myself it's another turn of the wheel. It's a different level of the tower. It's not supposed to be the exact thing because King and all of his multiverses, there's different worlds than these, and so that's the way I try to look at it, and I try not to judge as much, but I don't love Kubrick's The Shining. I think it's slow and plodding, and while beautifully directed, I don't know. I'm actually not the biggest Shining fan as far as the book goes. I prefer Doctor Sleep, the sequel, and I'm really stoked to see what Mike Flanagan does with.
So we're accepting applications for.
I can't wait for a trailer for that.
Fuego spot on here on Show Business. Whenever Stephen King hates something that he wrote and somebody else directed, I'm like, all right, I'm probably gonna love it.
That's like really the only one.
Didn't he have problems with stuff in Christine too?
Yeah, but I mean, the book is 100 times better. The book is a ghost story. It's less about. It's more about the ghost of the guy who owned the vehicle previously possessing Arnie, in comparison with just it's a haunted car, whatever. I mean, Carpenter even said, he's like, hey man, that was a pay gig. I was pissed about the fact that the thing had bombed, and so I took the money gig, and I mean,
if only somebody had gone back to him from the future and said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's all going to turn out okay for the thing. I think the best line in Shutter Island is something that was not in the book, and the author said, the closing line of Shutter Island was not in the book, and the author came out and said, that's not how the book ends. And I think the last line of Shutter Island, the Scorsese DiCaprio movie, is incredible. I think that wraps that movie up and really leaves you to wonder. I don't know. Is that movie 10 years old yet? Can I spoil it? Yeah.
Well,
yeah. So
something. Somewhere.
It's at least 10, yeah. Cause in the year I moved to LA, it came out, and that was 2009. Yeah. So it's been about 10 years. Yeah.
So the whole thing is DiCaprio kind of lets on that he knows that he's messed up in the head, but he's sober enough to make the decision to assisted suicide himself, and that is not in the book. And I think that makes that movie just a golden bow wrapped around that movie. And so
I never thought about this before. The Mist has the same thing.
That's what I was just about to say, and the fact that I was waiting for my cue to talk on it.
I'm sorry.
Darabont put in a really messed up, different ending that is definitive in a lot of ways, because the end of the spoilers, guys, the book came out in
The Mist is even older. Go ahead.
I mean, Dark Forces. yeah. Well, I mean, the novella came out in 80, 81. It was collected in Skeleton Crew in like 84, 85, 86, something like that. Long story short, the book basically ends with, father and son and a survivor or two, if I remember correctly. They're just chilling at like a Holiday Inn, and they're like, "Ooh, can we survive in this world? I don't know." And it just ends. Whereas that scene is so messed up with them counting out the bullets and Thomas Jane realizing, he's going to be the one that's going to survive, and then where the character, the name of the chick from The Walking Dead. Who
I know you're talking about the blonde. Yeah, I don't know her name either. Yeah, that's her character name.
Andrea.
Well, no, she's the one who gets shot, but the other one, God, why can't I think of her name? Anyway, it's of ill importance. That was an ending that was completely different than King's, and he actually said, you know what, that was better.
Oh, really? Okay.
Props to Darabont, but I mean, Darabont hasn't done a bad Stephen King adaptation. The fact that he's responsible for The Mist, the Green Mile and for Shawshank. It's like he's 3 for 3 as far as King adaptations go. So.
Well, it wasn't just the fact that they all shot themselves. It was the fact that what's his name, the Punisher, shot everyone, and then the soldiers come through. I guess maybe I shouldn't give that spoiler away, but it's
over 10 years old as well. No, I think that was 2007 when The Mist came out. So
you're right. Okay, so but I'm not a huge fan of The Mist, but that is a great ending. That is such a good ending.
You have to watch it in black and white because the CG doesn't age as poorly if you watch the black and white version of the film. It doesn't look as glossy and fake. So, and on the deluxe edition of the DVD Blu-ray, there is that. So
interesting.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. What else? Do we have anything else? But before we.
I was curious. You guys obviously heard about the Venom 2 director, right?
Andy Serkis?
No. What's the story? Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Gangster Squad Fleischer. Although I am very excited for Double Tap. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But Circus. It just makes me wonder if there's going to be, because I guess there was not mocap in the first Venom film, but. Circus is saying there's going to be more of that. He's actually collaborating with Tom Hardy on the script. What did you guys think of that Venom movie? I wasn't the biggest fan, but in some of its weird kookiness, I saw potential for,
considering Sony made it, I'll take it. That's what I'll say about Venom. But
Yeah, pretty much the same thoughts as me. Like parts of it, I was just like, I don't like this. Then parts of it's like, oh, okay, it's weird now. I like it. Like Lobster Tank. How can you not love Lobster Tank?
Yeah,
that was something else, man.
Like it's weird and it's out there. It took me a second. Then when he first jumped in, I'm like, oh nope, I'm done. But then I'm like, okay, he's just gonna eat a lobster. Okay, that's pretty.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't see.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, CP, my bad. Oh, I was just gonna say I didn't see Circus's Mowgli. No. Did you guys happen to see that?
I will now, just for the sake of it. But yeah,
I think it's on Netflix, but I never watched it.
That's where I'm curious to know what got him the gig, because I'm not incredibly familiar with his directorial work, if there is much out there. So I'm puzzled. Interesting. Maybe they're trying to get a twofer, where they're, hey, why don't you direct this and help us out with the CGI? Did we lose you, Lindsey?
Yeah, obviously.
No, sorry. Just
make raise your eyebrows just to let me know you're alive.
No, I'll just give like that, the yawn and stretch, like I'm trying to make a move on a girl, but it'll be me texting on the phone. Circus is such an interesting artist. I'm down to see him direct something. I'm just a lazy butthole, so I never saw Mowgli. I do love that he's trying to put motion capture in Venom, because of course he is. Why wouldn't he? But we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. That's really, I mean, with the exception of the fact that I was going to say yesterday, 5 years ago, we lost Robin Williams. That was a big time bummer, and I was thinking I wanted to rewatch some of my faves, like the Good Morning Vietnam, Fisher King, even Mrs. Doubtfire, and even some of his dramatic work as he segued into things like 1 Hour Photo, which I think is really, really underrated, and he is so creepy in that movie, and it just shows that so many of the funniest people, that whole cliche, some of the funniest people are, they're not laughing on the inside, they are very tortured people, and it's the Stephen King quote that I always think of. He's like, ever notice some of the funniest guys have a mean streak? And that, I mean, Harlan, when you mentioned him earlier, that guy definitely did. And, various others, Hicks,
Pryor, sure. Bill Hicks. Totally, give me any one of those people and drop them today. I'd love to hear a 45-minute set on anything they have to say about America today or the world today.
Stay there, my God.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting, but
Robin Williams. I think my favorite performance of his is Good Morning Vietnam. I'm not talking about comedy. I think I don't think you get better than Mrs.
Right.
Doubtfire as far as comedic performance, but I think him as an actor. I mean, you got a hell of a point there with 1 hour photo. The editor is. Yeah, Insomnia. The
really
editor
good, too.
is criminally underseen. It's a really neat idea about. It's a futuristic movie where people have at their the final cut. What I call it, the editor.
Yeah,
Yeah, the final cut.
really good. Yeah,
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good
It's a
movie.
really
Yeah.
unique movie where people at their funerals they play like movies, and Robin Williams is this editor. I don't know. Maybe I had a different title.
Yeah, it's like on
Yeah.
top of their lives, pretty much, that they've recording the whole time, almost like that Black Mirror episode where everything is being recorded, and Toby Kebbell's character starts tripping out because he thinks his wife is cheating on him after that dinner date with the ex-boyfriend, and yeah, really interesting. Boy, what is another one that just comes to mind? It was on the tip of my tongue. Some friends of mine like What Dreams May Come.
Yeah.
Good Will Hunting is what got him the Oscar, obviously.
Hey, Bicentennial Man, guys, come on, let's show some love here. Like,
Yeah. Nobody said Jumanji, huh? Nobody said Jumanji.
what? What's that face? Oh, Jumanji!
Yeah, insane.
Oh,
Rated.
that I would put that up there as one of his stronger performances. I think, because I don't know, he's just really good in that movie.
It was when he was segueing into the family friendliness of the 90s, kind of stepping away from the more R-rated stuff. But, I mean, when he stepped back into, Bobcat's movie, the World's Greatest Dad, that's a great one.
Daniel
too,
Hammonds is
honestly.
Patch Adams.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was one of those Christmas releases that, did some significant change. So.
Oh, it's not a great movie, but it's so tear-jerking with his speech at the end. Jack?
Jennifer Lopez
Directed
in
by
that movie
Coppola,
too.
if I
as the
remember
teacher.
correctly. Yeah.
I just always remember 2 words, penthouse.
Oh, Cecil dropping a hook on us. Dead Poet Society. Oh man, how do you forget Dead Poet Society?
And, oh man, good call.
Ouch,
How did I neglect
ouch.
that one?
Aladdin. All right, that's not
Yeah.
really. That's a, I don't want to piss off actors by saying that's not really a performance, but we'll let it slide.
There are many that would argue, right?
So that about does it. That's the hour. A little hiccupy.
It is.
Apologies,
Yep.
guys. We were just getting back into the groove. But Lindsey, do you got anything for us coming up?
Possibly. I'll stay vague for interest, and because you know me, how I do. But yeah, no, I'm Lindsey. Check out my channel, my 2 cents of nonsense.
Stuff is down below.
Yeah,
Are you
no,
watching
that's me.
anything of the myriad of films that are coming out this week between 47 Meters Down, Blinded by the Light, Good Boys, and Where'd You Go, Bernadette?
Probably Good Boys, and also The Good Boys, and I'm also gonna watch The Boy. Another thing.
Is that
So
Amazon
good.
series?
Dude, so good.
Yeah.
I love the
Yeah.
comic book. So, and they alter some things, but it's boy, does it go after the jugular of those superheroes.
I
So,
watched the first episode, and holy crap!
yeah.
Yeah, as a comic fatiguist, wow,
Fatiguist.
wow, did that really get my attention? Sorry, Fuego.
Yeah, it's Garth Ennis, the same guy who wrote Preacher, and he did Crossed and various other things. Had a long run on, oh boy, I cannot, a couple different DC properties in any event. Hellblazer being one, so yeah.
What you got coming up? And are
Well,
you watching anything coming out this week?
Well, I have, oh boy, My Name is Bernadette, or What's Up,
Where'd you
Bernadette?
go, Bernadette?
Where'd you go,
Where'd you go,
Bernadette?
Pussycat?
Whoa.
Yeah, so I have early tickets for that tomorrow night. I'm also seeing the Peanut Butter Falcon on Wednesday night, which is this movie about a handicapped dude who wants to be a wrestler, and it has Shia LaBeouf, who I'm not typically the biggest fan of, but
Hit and miss.
the trailer is immensely endearing. It has the girl from 50 Shades, who I actually enjoy in everything I've seen her in besides that first movie, because I was not subjected to the
She
other
had a
two.
teeny part in
because,
Social Network. A teeny part in Social Network.
Wait, who is
She's
she
the
in
girl
Social
that
Network?
Justin Timberlake sleeps with and uses her password to find Facebook.
Oh, that's right. That was okay. That's
Sorry.
funny. I like her a lot in Bad Times at El Royale. But go ahead.
Yeah.
She's great in that movie. That movie is insanely underrated in my opinion. Drew Goddard did a hell of a job with it. But speaking of Cecil, I need to get on the horn with him about trying to see 47 meters down uncaged on Thursday evening at the early screening. There's no press or anything for that. The last trailer looked better than either of us anticipated. It left him increasingly unnerved. So yeah, hopefully we will have a review of that coming up sometime later this week. And on Infotainment, I've got Madness in the Method. I'm actually going to make that live shortly after this. And as far as other horror show stuff goes, we did the first of our Thing sequel comic series stuff. So they actually Dark Horse wrote sequels to The Thing in comic book form that pick up right after the original movie, and we put up our first video of that on the Horror Show YouTube channel today. So
awesome. And I have press, so me and my journalist connections are still valid. I have a press screening of Good Boys that Emily and I will be attending tomorrow.
Nice.
Patrons will get the normal vlog treatment, and we might throw something up. Just getting back into the groove, guys. I literally didn't even look at my editing software at all in 2 weeks. So just getting back into the groove. There's a couple of things. The review for Audition might be repurposed and shifted over for a bit of a collab of sorts with Ryan. No, not Ryan. Excuse me, Luke Ryan over at Razor Wire Reviews. But Human Centipede is right up the rear. So for that lovely series,
yeah, it is.
no pun intended.
Too easy.
Yeah. So I'll be watching that for, the content will kind of roll out on top of each other, and I'll try my best to make up for the last couple of weeks because there was stuff that was shot. As I released a little bit of my Criterion collection this weekend. That's what I edited before I just fell terribly ill. But back to normal, and we'll get the sound and everything else figured out by next week. And other than that, I don't know. How do we say goodbye?
El